Hey guys, it's Heather again. I am getting on a roll. There's so much that I can say. I I mean, I couldn't possibly. It would take so long to convey all the information that I'm receiving, and I would just, I don't know. I'm just gonna take it a recording at a time. Talk about it. Um, in past posts, I've mentioned Ben, and he was somebody that I worked with, and I thought he was great. I didn't think he was amazing, but the one thing I really liked about him was that he was so nice. But in hindsight, I mean, he was just anything but. That was a show, um, because unfortunately, I learned that he didn't come in being himself. That wasn't the person that he was. He was he was paid. He was paid to try to sleep with me, and I did sleep with him consensually twice. If we slept together, and I wouldn't even call it that. If he attacked me, it was when I was unconscious or on drugs. But consensually twice we were together, and I think at least one of those times he had a camera and he filmed it, and I did not have that idea or impression at that time that that was happening. If I did, I would never ever consent to it. I don't do videos, I don't do pictures with or without I'm just like, that's very rare for me to do that. Like, I took a series of pictures that were nude one time, and that was with my husband, and I would not do it again. That was the first time I did that, and he's since taken those pictures, of course, and distributed them out, and like, who knows whose hands they're probably everywhere. And then, yeah, this recording that was taken when we were together, which wasn't that great, by the way, that was made without my consent. And I don't know, I'm picking up that there's a page on me or about me somewhere. There's a page where it's posted like I made it myself, or there's a page of just a bunch of people have gone to this page that I know, or who know me or of me, or maybe who don't even really know me, all posting like some terrible things about me. And every once in a while I go to look for it, but I know that I'll receive more guidance on when to start looking for it when the time comes, but I know that that's coming. I also know there's somebody that I've mentioned in past postings as well. I'm not going to say his name, but actually all of these people, just about all of them, who are really, really connected to attacking me, like these main characters, they all do magic. And I gotta tell you, in my life, I don't believe in magic. I think it's hoaxy. I think it's stupid. I'm not a fan of magic. I think it's dumb. And I don't think that it really works. I think magic maybe could work if you do magic on somebody else, if they're on the same energy level as you. If they're vibing on the same level and you do magic and you have ill intentions for someone or good intentions, or you want something from them, or you're doing magic and you're trying to manifest something to hurt them, or I mean, I suppose, like, I'm hearing that can happen, but when it stops working is when the person who is the recipient of that magic is on a different vibe or higher level. Magic's not going to work. Magic, it's so, all of it is so hoaxy. I will tell you, if you are doing magic, don't do it. It's not right. Especially if you're novice at it, stop. It's stupid, and you don't know what you're doing, and stay away from it. If you do know what you're doing, know that your magic only works on people who are on that same vibrational energy, and then outside of that, your magic isn't shit. Unfortunately, I believe that my ex-husband is now talking with somebody. I don't know how long he's been talking with them. And I've been hearing this for a long time, and I get like little tidbits here and there. Like, I hear a friend of mine, and at first I kind of laughed about that because I don't have any friends. I don't have friends. I haven't had friends for years. The last best friend that I ever had died a few years back, and I have nobody close to me. I have my kids, and that is it. I thought I had my husband until my eyes were opened up. I don't have him. He's not my friend. He does not love me. I don't know. So the idea of a friend, and then I heard blonde hair. I was like, gosh, I was trying to think of any friends I've had throughout my life that have blonde hair. And there's two of them that I can think of. And I was like thinking, one doesn't live in our state, and then the other one does live here, but I mean, I don't know. I suppose they could. But really, it was hard to believe, mostly because my ex-husband he can barely, there's no intimacy. He's not interested in women, I don't feel. Not sexually, so that piece didn't add up. And then I don't know. My daughter has a friend, and her mother, it just kind of hit me like, whoa, there it is. Because as they were friends, I began to enjoy talking to her. But I could see that she did not enjoy talking to me. She didn't like me. And she was very competitive. And she's blonde hair. And she's low vibing. And, it's like all the pieces kind of fit. Like, did I consider her a friend? I really liked her and thought we would be good friends. And we did some activities with our kids together. But she was very up and down, and just, I couldn't follow her. I couldn't understand her behavior until I recognized that, wow, this woman does not like me. And I realized, oh, this is it. This is it. She fits all the pieces. She's the one that is hanging out with my ex-husband. And I was thinking, well, like, I don't feel any jealousy. I don't because my husband and I are not connected in that way. We're friendly. And he's always been given, the freedom to do what he wants. But why he would pursue women, I'm not quite sure. But I realize she too has been kind of persuaded. I don't know if she's been paid. I don't think she's mentally well. I think she's very sick, actually. And she's been persuaded to connect with him and break he and I up, because I will say he and I, for better or worse, do have a very strong bond. And to break it up would be a pretty tough thing to do, but I do see that it needs to be done. And so I almost kind of welcome his attention to be diverted somewhere else, because it doesn't suit either of us if we're hanging out together. We do need to go our separate ways. And I think that this is going to pull his attention away from me. But unfortunately, the way that it happens is he attacks me. He attacks me. And he attacked me at my last job. I believe him when he told me that Ben and Andy asked for pictures. I believe that. He told me that in a moment of honesty, but I don't think he had any problem handing them over, and I think he wouldn't mind to do it again. He's got them somewhere, and from what I'm hearing, his karmic girlfriend, who's kind of luring him in with money and drugs and sex, and I don't know if it's with her. It's a certain type of sex, I'll tell you that. And yeah, she's engaging in things that he likes to engage in, but I'm not going to get specific on that. But she's got his number. And so they have these two commonalities, right? And she doesn't care for him. And it's almost like, for as much as he's been bullying me, now a bigger bully has been sent in to come bully him. And I want to say, that's part of his karma, but I don't want him to feel that consequence. He should not be attacked any more than I should. And it doesn't matter what I tell him. He's not gonna listen or hear. He doesn't hear it. He likes this woman, and I think she's gonna destroy his life. And I can tell him and have tried as much, but he doesn't hear it. In fact, he denies everything. He denies even talking with her, but I see it in her actions more than I see it in his. She's very obvious. I just don't have enough solid proof. Every time I question, is this happening? Is this, could she be hanging out with him? Is she trying to pursue him? I get all sorts of messages coming in yes, it's happening. Yes, he has the time. Yes, it's taking place. Yes, tell him to go talk to this girlfriend that he denies that he has. And it just kind of baffles me, because it is he has the freedom to be honest. I don't consider us to be together. I never have. I've just considered us to have a partnership. And I've always been honest with him. And I don't know. I've come to find he has not been honest with me. Unfortunately, this woman has contacted some people at my work. I believe it's Amy. I do right now. I mean, I could be wrong, and I think it's Amy, and she's contacted some people at my current job. And she's persuaded my ex-husband to put up cameras, and then he's under the impression that it's just a group of people who are getting together watching this coverage and these cameras and laughing about it and making fun of me, and it's all in good fun to him. But what he doesn't realize is these cameras are being streamed. So all of these things in this last recording that I put out, where it just seems so personal, I mean, my entire life is going to be laid out, and there's going to be things that are true, there's going to be things that are lies, because for whatever reason, this group of people are just here to take me down. Whenever I look at these people at work, I'm like, I kind of think, where's the sight? Or I watch their faces because I know they're watching, cameras of me getting dressed, undressed. I mean, just like, part of me feels, well, all of me feels violated in that sense. But then another part of me comes in and thinks, I guess if you want to see that bad, watch what you're going to watch. See what you're going to see. Invade what you're going to invade. It's not going to pan out well for anybody who's involved in this. Everybody gets uncovered. And, it's not all of who I am. And it's very dishonorable to do this, and just shame on everybody involved. There's this group that's coming after me specifically and my kids, and I think when it's uncovered, some of the people who were kind of involved or just got involved in posting on a page of hate are going to think back and be like, man, why was I so mean? And that's an interesting thing, isn't it? It's an interesting thing how people can kind of come together and start like a hate group. And I mean, it's happened. It's happened in all of history. And it's repeated over and over. And it can happen on a large scale, like World War II. It can happen like witches back in Salem. It can happen in a small group. It can happen in a human traffic ring. It can happen in an organized crime ring. This is going to turn out ultimately to be an organized crime ring. And again, it goes very high up. And it's not a good thing. But it's going to be uncovered. As I was working here, I got this message. I was friends with somebody. His name was Maurice. His name is Maurice. And he and I used to get along pretty well. There were things I liked about him, and then there were some things I didn't care for, but we got along well. And I liked this group of people that I worked with, but they're not my people. And I don't know, it was just nice to work in a much better, happier environment than the past environment. But when you've got a family that's actively trying to bring you down, they're going to take it wherever you go. And so it has now reached this current job. And in addition, I couldn't figure out what was going on between my boss Casey and this coworker Maurice. They were acting very funny. It didn't add up to me. And then one day it did add up to me. It added up to me. It came to me. And I realized they were stealing computers. They were stealing laptops that they thought nobody would ever miss. And they sell them on the side and make some, like, an extra side profit. And I couldn't figure out why Casey was just favoring Maurice. And he's broken this whole team up. And I don't know. When I look at him, though, I like him as a person. I think he's a little insecure, just like all of us. I'd like to see him work on that. I think with the right guidance, he could be pretty amazing. But the one piece that can't be fixed is the stealing. You cannot steal. You're not supposed to steal. Never steal from the company. You're going to get caught. I realized they were stealing. I just didn't know how. And I started watching closer. I started watching the inventory. I started watching the back room where the computers were being held. And I realized I was in over my head. Like, I could try and take down serial numbers and watch everything. It was time consuming. And I didn't really have the resources I needed to truly catch these guys or kind of figure out if this was true. Like, it made sense. It all added up. When it came to me, it all added up. And I was like, wow, that makes sense. But then I started, and I'm going to be honest, I started receiving messages like, if you have this information, you are expected to report it. You're expected to tell this stealing is wrong. It shouldn't be done. It should be reported. These guys need to be held accountable. Report it. Report it. And, you know, everything was going so well at this job. The last thing I wanted to do was report them, especially when I didn't have solid evidence. And that was not something that I wanted to do, but I was being guided to do. And normally, while I know stealing's wrong and people shouldn't be doing it, I'll admit the past me would probably never report it because people aren't involved. It's somebody stealing, people get hurt, the company gets hurt, but it's dealing with, like, merchandise. It's dealing with laptops. It's dealing with things that it's not people. No one's hurting somebody, but they're stealing, and stealing's wrong. So I probably would have let that go in the past. But when I was guided to report it, I reported it. And I knew it was going to sound loony. I knew it was. And this was like, gosh, I want to say this was 9 or 10 months ago that I reported it. And so far, I don't think anyone's found any conclusive evidence, but I am 1000% sure that it is happening. And I am told, again, that this is going to come out, but it's going to come out on God's time, not on my time. And really, like, there really wasn't anything more I could do aside from reporting it, 'cause I don't have the resources to verify everything coming in and leaving. Our inventory is just spotty at best. So, yeah, I had to report it. And I had to report it without real solid evidence. And I had to report it like, how do you report something that you get from your intuition? You just say, I had a feeling. It doesn't go over well. And it was very hard for me to describe. I started describing things about Maurice that I was seeing that didn't add up to me, but I knew it wasn't enough. But I don't know. I explained it the best I could without saying, hey, this is just a gut instinct that I've had. And I know that's going to come out. History just kind of always repeats itself, right? Until you decide to break the cycle. And I'm going to be a new person. I'm going to change me. And things that used to be okay are no longer okay. Like, for instance, I love music. I always have loved music. Um, but I can no longer stand to listen to just any music. Even music that I used to love. It has to have good vibes, good words. If it doesn't, it doesn't do enough for me. I don't have the same love for it that I used to. And, things that I would have let go in the past, like stealing laptops or something like that, where people weren't involved, I probably would have stayed out of. I don't stay out of that anymore. I report that stuff. And I don't know. We can't, we can't be honorable unless we act honorable. And we have to do the right thing. We have to take the right route, do the right thing. And if we want to see change, we've got to be the change. That sounds probably very cliche, but it is true. It's true. And I'm going to break this cycle because I don't want my kids to face the kind of life that I've had to face as my history. I never realized it's repeating. It's repeating for me. I didn't realize that my parents faced this. I didn't realize they turned so ugly. I didn't realize their parents were involved. I'm going to be the one that breaks the cycle, and I'm going to get my kids to a better, safer place, and I'm going to get them around people that aren't monsters, and I'm going to find better people. I'm going to find my people to hang out with, and I'm on my way to doing that. Okay, thanks.